Hello, dear viewers. Welcome to this edition of the news. My name is Sarah Shinhori. We'll go straight to the details. The residents of Nyagatare district have been assured that Gikoba, a rich site in the history of Rwanda's liberation struggle, will soon be developed and marked with memorials to preserve its historical significance. This commitment was made during a 21-kilometer walk organized to celebrate the 31st anniversary of Rwanda's liberation, which drew over 4,000 participants from Nyagatare and neighboring districts. The walk began at the Nyagatare District Stadium around 9 a.m., bringing together thousands in a symbolic gesture of solidarity with the troops of what used to be the Rwanda Patriotic Army, who led the liberation struggle under the RPF Inkotanyi Party. The journey culminated at Gikoba in Tabagwe sector, a location where President Paul Kagame, then the commander of the RPA, once stayed during the war. Gikoba is also near Kagitumba, the place where the first bullet of the 1990 Liberation War was fired on the 1st of October. Many who once lived in exile due to the oppressive regimes of the First and Second Republics have noted that they are now witnessing a peaceful and prosperous country thanks to the liberation. Participants arrived at Gikoba dancing and singing patriotic songs in honor of the sacrifices made by the RPA. The youth were especially moved as they learned about the tactical brilliance of President Kagame, who led the rebels to a major breakthrough after arriving at the front lines on the 15th of October 1990. The young participants pledged to uphold the legacy of those who liberated the nation. This year alone, over 1,500 people have visited Gikoba. The governor of the Eastern Province, Prudence Rubingisa, has announced that in the current fiscal year, development will begin to transform Gikoba into a modern historical site, ensuring its legacy continues to inspire future generations. Now, while launching the 15th edition of Itorero Indangamirwa, the Minister of National Unity and Civic Engagement, Dr. Jean Damascene Bizimana, called on Rwandan youth to be a mirror of their country, exemplary in behavior and resistant to adopting negative habits seen abroad. The intake of Indangamirwa is taking place at the Humba Civic Education Center in Burera district. It brings together 438 participants, 204 of them young women and 334 young men. Among them are 104 youth who study or live abroad, students from international schools in Rwanda, top performers from the Inkomeza Bigwi National Service Program, and youth leaders representing their peers. Participants have expressed high hopes of gaining deeper insight into their country, with many from the diaspora voicing a strong desire to serve Rwanda across various sectors.
I've been thinking to join the army of Rwanda, but so I feel like this is gonna be my final, how can I call it, choice if I'm gonna join the army or if I'm not, because I feel like if you're going to join the army is a big step. So this is the final one for me. So that's why I'm here. Joining an army, people say it's like an easy thing. So you really have to think about it very hard, like on another level. And here you see a little picture of how the army is, and that's why I'm saying like this is going to be my final decision if I'm going to join or not.
I'm very excited. I mean, the first day was a bit of an interesting experience, but apart from that, I'm very excited. I genuinely want to know more about the culture, because I feel like as much as I say I'm Rwandan, I don't feel very Rwandan, if that makes sense. So more about the culture, the history, and the language.
Okay. I was kind of scared, about everything, but it was really nice. Like everyone is so nice, so welcoming. And it's not like, I know it's kind of hard to wake up and everything in the morning and the exercise, but I think it's worth it, and everything is really fine. They're welcoming, and they explain things to you really easy in a way you can understand it. And yeah, it's fine. I came here to have more knowledge about my culture, about my language also, because I don't really speak Kinyarwanda. So I really want to learn by the end of these 6 weeks to how to speak Kinyarwanda. And also to increase my discipline, to just be more sharp in life. I think it's gonna help me in these 6 weeks. And yeah.
During his address, Minister Bizimana explained how colonial powers dismantled the unity of Rwandans by sowing seeds of division. ultimately culminating in the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. He urged the youth to reject anyone who promotes hatred, division, and genocidal ideologies. He also cautioned against imitating destructive behaviors seen in foreign cultures, instead urging the youth to uphold Rwandan values and serve as positive role models. This edition of Itorero Indangamirwa will last for 45 days. During the program, participants will receive basic military training, lessons in Rwandan history, unity and resilience, national values and taboos, as well as briefings on the country's development vision across various sectors. Health facilities across Rwanda have begun implementing new prices for medical services following an adjustment approved by the cabinet. While some patients were caught off guard, many private clinics have welcomed the move, saying the 8-year delay in revising prices had affected their operations. William Evans Mutabazi with the details.
The decision stems from a 17th January 2025 cabinet meeting resolution, which approved several reforms, including a long-awaited review of healthcare services fee. Private healthcare providers, in particular, had raised concerns over outdated prices that made it hard to cover costs. Dr. Dominic Savio Mugenzi says this policy shift is a relief for the private sector. This review comes after 8 years of no reforms. Of course, this has had an impact on the operations of especially private health facilities because these are investors like any other business investors. Meaning, when prices are constant for such a long period, hospitals do not make any profits. This resulted into some actually closing. We are grateful for our government for bringing these reviews and reforms in prices. Since July 1st, patients arriving at health centers are encountering slightly higher charges. While some were aware of the changes, others were surprised, like those we met at Ejo Heza Surgical Hospital in Kigali. Today I had come for my second appointment. Upon reaching, I was asked to pay 2,888 Rwandan francs. This shocked me, so I asked how come. We got explained too that the prices were reviewed and changed. I did not know about the price reviews until I reached here, and I was equally surprised. I had come for normal hospital checkups. The increases are relatively modest. For instance, a patient with RSSB health insurance, commonly known as Rama, now pays up to 300 more for consultation than before. The Minister of Health says the goal is to align healthcare prices with current economic conditions, while also addressing the long-standing financial strains faced by private facilities, ultimately aiming to improve service quality. Take, for example, a tablet that was at 5 Rwandan francs, wholesale price, but now is at 7. We cannot sell it at 6 Rwandan francs. It is supposed to be slightly higher than the current wholesale value, so that this medicine, through either public or private health facilities, it can be accessed by citizens easily. I do not want to say that there has been an increase in prices of medicine, but rather we have aligned the prices with the current market value. These reviews will be conducted every other 2 years, and this will help especially those with private facilities to operate better without making losses. However, as the new prices roll out, some insurance providers have yet to approve the changes, leading to disruptions. As of yesterday, some insured patients were being turned away or required to pay 100% out of pocket despite holding valid insurance. We are calling upon all insurance companies that haven't given leeway to their clients in line with the new tariffs to ensure they do so without further delays, because patients are coming but do not get attended to. These include Prime Insurance, Eden Care, and Britam. William Evans, RTV News.
Tax experts believe that the government's recent decision to introduce VAT on fuel after a long period of exemptions is a strategic move to help close tax revenue gaps and boost the country's economic self-reliance. Adams Kwizera with the details.
The next 2 months have taken effect, now incorporating VAT for the first time. A litre of petrol is now being sold at 1,803 Rwandan francs and diesel at 1,757 Rwandan francs. Despite the VAT increment, the managing director of the Petroleum Importers Association of Rwanda, Dr. Joseph Akumono, knows that the government subsidies have helped to prevent prices from rising even further.
So on such way, you see how the government has put much efforts to ensure for us on the side of the business or on the side of the customers are happy. So whatever government has put in place, we have sit together, we have negotiated together, we have made consultation together, so we are okay. So because whatever things happen, it's on interest of the citizens.
And this hike in petroleum prices, as it is contributing to the national budget, subsequent benefits has to be passed downwards to the different line authorities. For example, Ministry of Infrastructure, which may use this budget for road maintenance or other infra projects as well. At the same time, there's a huge gap of, or rather we can say balance of payment issue. So government would like to capture a bit of it, the fund, to reduce that balance of, or financing the import of it. Because balance of payment is an issue for any country. So I think it's a very strategic move for cutting down some issues associated with balance of payment issues as well, apart from locally benefiting.
So in addition to that, I think what we will do, we'll have to work with taxpayers, try to explain to them the practicalities of how this VAT is going to be collected and how it's going to be remitted to the tax administration, and then help them go through the declarations on a monthly basis accordingly. So I believe as we normally work together with taxpayers, this is not going to be with any complexity. I believe it's going to be as easy as any other new taxes that have been introduced in the previous times. But then, I think currently what we would require from taxpayers who really trade in, who are in this sector, we require them to submit to us their opening stock as of today, 6 a.m. because we understand that at the closure of yesterday, 1st of July, they had certain stock that was already in their depot, I mean at the petrol stations. Therefore, the opening stock of today, 2nd July, at 6 a.m., we need those stock. And we have given out, we have sent out some announcements and letters to specific players in the sector to ask them to submit to us their opening stock for today.
VAT is now added on top of existing 50 Rwandan francs per litre fuel levy. Aimed at expanding national fuel storage infrastructure, 16 Rwandan francs paid by importers for the same purpose, and 15% customs duty on fuel, which includes insurance and transportation costs used to finance road maintenance. Adams Kwizera, RwandaTV News.
The Rwanda Mines Petroleum and Gas Board has recognized Vestine Kamugwera, a mineral prospector operating in Mageragere sector, as the first in her field to independently build a modern community-serving infrastructure project. Vestine constructed a state-of-the-art school to address the challenge of children who were walking long distances from Nyarugenge district to attend school in Bugesera. In the spirit of the country's progress since its liberation 31 years ago, particularly the empowerment of women in the mining sector, Vestine chose to give back to the government in a meaningful way she tackled a pressing local issue, that is children dropping out of school due to long commutes, that is, and the burden of parents from Majaragire and Gahanga who had to send their children far away for education. In response, she established Greater Haven Academy, a model school equipped with modern facilities and now adopting an international curriculum. Parents and educators have praised the initiative as a true reflection of what liberation means when private individuals work hand in hand, that is, with the government to solve community challenges. The Rwanda Mines, Petroleum and Gas Board has emphasized that mining license holders have a responsibility not only just to extract resources, but also to contribute to local development. The board has therefore urged others in the sector to follow in Vestine's example. Local authorities in Nyarugenge district have also commended the project, describing it as a transformative initiative that directly improves people's lives. Greater Haven Academy currently consists of 18 fully equipped classrooms with advanced technology and has the capacity to accommodate as many as 400 students. Youth from Nyamagabe district have visited the Murambi Genocide Memorial, where they paid tribute to victims of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi and donated cows to vulnerable survivors. The event coincided with the district youth General Assembly, during which participants pledged to preserve the progress made in the 31 years since Rwanda's liberation. William Evans Mutabazi with more.
The youth delegation included representatives from local government, the private sector, and rehabilitated youth from correctional centers. At the Murambi Memorial, they toured different sections and received in-depth explanations about Rwanda's history, particularly the event that led to the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. Although most of them are originally from Nyamagabe, many had never visited the memorial before. They described the experience as deeply moving and said it strengthened their commitment to fighting genocide ideology and building a nation free from division. What I've learned as a young person is to encourage my fellow youths to continue safeguarding against genocide ideologies, because what we have seen is not something easy. I therefore want to encourage other young people to say no to genocide ideology so that we do not go back to our harsh past, but instead continue building our nation on peace and unity as a foundation. Following the visit, the youth also attended a historical talk that highlighted Rwanda's liberation struggle, largely led by young fighters of Rwandan Patriotic Army. This was part of the broader theme of the Youth Assembly, remembering the liberation struggle that stopped the genocide against the Tutsi, youth at the forefront of preserving our achievements. The Vice Mayor in charge of economic development, Habimana Teddy, urged the youth to remain vigilant and continue safeguarding the gains made since liberation. The government has provided everything possible. We therefore ask you young people to protect what has been achieved this far, especially by consolidating peace, unity and resilience. These youth have been told how our country got destroyed. They went through the history and several speakers talked to them about how to safeguard against genocide ideology by fostering peace and unity and economic development as active participants. In addition to the memorial visit, the youth also extended support to vulnerable genocide survivors by donating cows as part of a solidarity program dubbed Humura Nturi Wenyine, Take Heart, You Are Not Alone. William Evans, RTV News.
As car ownership continues to rise in the country, some drivers and companies are turning to technology to monitor and reduce fuel usage, saving money and minimizing losses in the process. William Evans Mutabazi once more.
At Sator, Rwanda, Isakal Namahoro, who manages the company's fleet and fuel management system, demonstrates how the technology helps monitor vehicle usage.
This fuel and fleet management system
helps mostly car owners and drivers to monitor car fuel consumption. For instance, if a driver refuels at Nyabugogo with 50 liters and an extra 50 liters later, drivers can access this information via their mobile phones, while the system also keeps track and provides a report. Emmanuel Dusenjimana, a truck owner, says installing the system has helped him identify areas where his vehicle consumes too much fuel and takes corrective action. Before I started using this system, I used to be cheated. Quite often, my drivers would call me saying they need more fuel. This would sometimes be so abrupt and random without me knowing exactly where the car is. But now that I use this system, a lot has been made easy and I have peace. Namao adds that the system provides detailed insights into vehicle behavior, such as long idle times, delayed oil changes, or excessive speeding, which all contribute to increased fuel consumption. In the event that the car consumes more fuel than usual, the system has capabilities to report the changes so the mechanics can do vehicle checks to identify the issue. As fuel prices continue to rise, this technology is increasingly seen as a valuable tool for vehicle owners looking to operate more efficiently and take better care of their cars. The cost of installing the fleet and fuel management system ranges from $200,000 to $400,000 depending on the vehicle type. William Evans, RwandaTV News.
During lapse moments, laying hooks, giving away, making moves, breakfast with family. Inyanje is always there. Whatever the occasion, whatever the moment, always ask for Inyanje.
Nyiri muto arababwiraga data bati ntabwo wagira umukamo mwinshi utunze inka imwe, ariko nigeze acika intege. Mama akinjira mu bucuruzi hari abamubwiraga bati ntabwo watera imbere udakorera mu iduka rigezweho, ariko ntibyamusubije inyuma, yakoranaga umwete. Njye muri kaminuza hari abanshidikanyagaho bavuga ko nashobora kaminuza naturuka mu muryango wifashije, ariko byaragiye nanditse amateka mashya. Igihe cyo gutera ishema umuryango wanjye kigeze, bamwe bakomeje kumbwira bati ntabwo watera umuryango wawe ibyishimo n'ishema, ariko narabishoboye. Hari abakekaga ko nasigira umurage ukomeye abankomokaho, ariko ubu mfite uruganda rutunganya amata. Banki ya Kigali yabaye umufatanyabikorwa wanjye mu rugendo rwose, inzozi zanjye ziba impamo. Bigereho.
Muyobozi wa sosiyete, turakwibutsa ko buri sosiyete isabwa n'itegeko kubika ibitabo bya sosiyete ndetse no gushyikiriza RDB amakuru abikubiyemo. Ibyo bitabo birimo igitabo cy'abanyamigabane, icy'abagenewe inyungu ku migabane, inyandiko y'amakuru ya sosiyete, ibaruramari ngarukamwaka n'izindi. Gutanga amakuru y'ugenewe inyungu ku migabane wanyura kuri bo.rdb.rw, naho gutanga izindi nyandiko ukanyura kuri org.rdb.rw.
Welcome back, and now news from elsewhere around the world. The EU is open to carbon offsets on a path to its 2040 emissions target. The European Commission has controversially proposed allowing international carbon offsets to help meet the targets, raising concerns about outsourcing the emission reduction actions. Euronews with more.
The European Commission has confirmed that the EU aims to cut its carbon emissions by 90% by 2040 in its new proposal for a climate law. It would allow member states and industries more flexibility to reach this target, including the release of new carbon credits.
And to our college.
It's a huge transition. Let's just realize that. And therefore it is of the most importance to be non-dogmatic about how to reach success. A lot has been said about the flexibilities, and let me dive into that right away. We will allow for, first, a limited amount of high-quality carbon credits outside of the European Union.
The Commission said the bloc is on its way to reach the planned 55% reduction for 2030. But environmentalists say the EU is not fully following the recommendations of its scientific advisory board with the new proposals.
We've come to the end of this edition of the news, and I thank you for taking the time to join us. Join Martina Avera for the next edition. Goodbye.